All praises, honor and glory to our Father, uNkulunkulu, umdali wamazulu nomhlaba, the Mudimu of Abraham, Isaka and Yakobe, uQamatha, usonini na nini. Greetings to all of you, my Bantu brothers and sisters, as we journey once again on this, our journey of self-discovery and seeking the truth of our Father. Welcome to our new subscribers, and we hope that they will join us on this journey, as it is indeed an opportunity for self-discovery, that we as the Bantu are the children of the Most High. Please continue to share the videos so we can ignite the light of our Father to our brethren. The title of this video is "The Bantu Family is the Unit of Holy Convocation and the Congregation." This particular slide, brothers and sisters, is my starting point to demonstrate the point that I've made with reference to the title of this video, that the Bantu family is the critical point of Holy Convocation or assembly. We have two families here. The first family has a father and a mother, and a son and a daughter. And the second family has a mother with the children and the grandparents. Now the question is, where would the father be? It's a very normal cause of events or a normal cause of circumstances that the father will also be responsible for those that he has left behind in the village. The aunts and the uncles that belong to the family. The family unit amongst the Bantu, especially those in Southern Africa, is that family doesn't refer to this small unit, but family refers to members of the entire household, relatives as well. Members of the household and the relatives you'll always find in the village, where each one of us come from. So the village is where you would find family, and that is what we mean, and that is what we're talking about when we're talking about a family within the context of the Bantu. Amongst the Bantu, family therefore includes members of the clan, and eventually members of the tribe, and finally the Bantu as a nation. This is where the black tax phenomenon comes from. The black tax is a Bantu thing, brothers and sisters, and this is why Paul's letter to Timothy in 1 Timothy 5 verse 8 says, "Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than a non-believer." Here Paul is talking about this unit of relatives, this unit of the entire household, which also includes relatives in the village. This is what we call the extended family, brothers and sisters. These images, brothers and sisters, if you heard what we said earlier on, we said that every man has got a responsibility to take care of his family, which includes the relatives in the village. But I submit to you, brothers and sisters, that this provision is not only just about bread, but rather to bring an understanding as to the relationship that we have with each other and that we have with our Father. Mopulusi himself in Matthew 4 verse 4, but he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. Now, the word that we're talking about, brothers and sisters, is what is contained in these books. This consolidation of books, which are inspired by the very Most High. Of course, there has been an attempt to take away from this book and to add to this particular book. But the Most High is giving us the light to be able to decipher what His word is within this very same book that has been tampered with by the enemy of the Most High. This word that we're referring to, that comes from the mouth of the Most High, is that which we are called on to sanctify them in truth. Your word, Father, is the truth. Now, if you look at Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3, it basically is a repeat of what has already been said, which comes from Matthew 4 and 4. And that is why, if you look at the New Testament, which is basically where Matthew 4 and 4 comes from, it is basically what comes completely from the Old so-called Testament in Deuteronomy 8, verse 3. Because if you read the words of Deuteronomy 8, verse 3, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna, which thou knowest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make them know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High doth man live. This word, and not just bread, is confirmed once again in Matthew 4 and 4. That is why you can never have a contradiction between the so-called Old Testament and the so-called New Testament. They sing the same song. That is why even Mupulusi himself said, I did not come to change the law and the prophets, but I came to fulfill them. It would certainly be preposterous to think that there will always be a willingness to have the family unit as a point of assembly, as there might be an unbelieving husband or even an unbelieving wife. And this might indeed have the impact of destabilizing this family unit that I'm referring to as being the point, a critical point of holy convocation and assembly. But we should not despair, brothers and sisters, because in such a case, Shaul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 14, for the unbelieving husband has been sanctified by or through his wife, and the unbelieving wife has been sanctified through her believing husband. Otherwise, your children would be unclean, but as it is, they are holy. We also have to be realistic and accept that our spouses might refuse to obey the Most High, and of course we know what their wages will be. That will be death, because it is written, The wages of sin is death. Mopulusi, as we call him in Setswana, Umsindisi, as we call him in isiXhosa. In Luke 17, verse 32, he cautioned and said, remember Lot's wife. According to Genesis 19, Lot was instructed to take his family out of Sodom, as the father was going to destroy it for their wickedness, and commanded them not to look back as the city burned. But Lot's wife did not listen. He disobeyed, and she looked back. She was turned into a pillar of salt. It is for that reason, then, that in Psalm 37, verse 7, we are told to rest in our Father and wait patiently for him to bring your spouse to the light that me and you have found through his grace. As per the narrative of this video, the family is to be seen as a critical component of the assembly and the Holy Convocation that the Father requires of us as his children, especially during the feasts. Of course, not all families are necessarily solid, and we cannot underestimate the works of the adversary. Sisters are losing husbands left, right, and center due to poverty and crime. And prison has become the home of the potential husbands and wives. Over and above that, there is also competition for husbands and wives from the gay and lesbian community. Here, brothers and sisters, I'm talking sadly about people who have been misled to get out of a so-called closet. We disappointingly now experience also popular television series in Southern Africa, such as The Queen and The River, promoting the same abomination that the Father has commanded us not to get involved in as his children. But we should not despair. Death, divorce, poverty that leads to crime, there is still hope from the Father to continue to establish his family unit as a critical point of his holy convocation and assembly towards a greater community and a greater nation. In Psalms 146, verse 7 to 9, he upholds the cause of the oppressed and gives food to the hungry. The Most High sets prisoners free. The Most High gives sight to the blind. The Most High lifts up those who are bowed down. The Most High loves the righteous. The Most High watches over the foreigner and sustains the fatherless and the widow. But he frustrates the ways of the wicked, the adversary. Those are the words of the Most High from Psalms 146, verse 7 to 9, giving us hope that notwithstanding all these impediments, the Most High is going to be able to fight our cause. Notwithstanding all the impediments that I've mentioned that impede the solidification of this family unit towards a greater community from amongst the relatives, the uncles and the aunts, from amongst the grandparents, from amongst the parents, from amongst the clan, from amongst the tribe, from amongst the village. The Most High still brings us comfort. And in Isaiah 41 verse 10, he says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am your father. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." That is the Father talking. On exactly what constitutes a family within the context of the Bantu, it is not a wonder that we have a Bantu proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child. If a child is naughty, any elderly person can be able to chastise that child without the father or the mother of that child having a problem with that. That is how the African community in the townships, in the village, within Southern Africa, conduct themselves. It is not unusual. And if you take a look at the structure of this village, this is the village of Haditsweni. The villages within the Bantu societies in Southern Africa, they live within close proximity to each other so that they can be able to supplement each other's needs. If the neighbor, umakhelwane, does not have salt, there is no reason to hesitate. They go to the next door and engage to ask for salt. Or if there's no bread, they do go next door to ask for the bread. That is how the Bantu communities used to live with each other. It was not a wonder then that as a family they are in a position to can be able to grow together. But we know what has happened in that these family units have been destroyed by the adversary of the Most High. It is therefore upon us to revive them to what they are supposed to be these families in the village or be they in the city. Going back to the family unit, no matter what the numbers are, it doesn't have to be a village, it doesn't have to be a tribe, it doesn't have to be a group. It can be 2 or 3. The Most High says, if you gather in His name, He will be there. Matthew 18, verse 20, for where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there with them. That is the unit of the family, brothers and sisters, at its best. There is no mention there of church or the concept church there. It completely debunks the idea that church is the only salvation path. Not at all. In order to supplement Matthew, where the Father says, where 2 or more are gathered together, the Father will be there, present. The Father goes on to make provision on how to go about doing that. The Most High in Exodus chapter 20 verse 12 says, honor your mother and your father so that your days may be prolonged in the land which your Most High has given you. Now he's talking to the children. that if they want to live long, they need to honor their fathers and they need to honor their mothers. This is talking to the family unit in its smallest form, where we have a father, a mother, a child. Let us move on, brothers and sisters, to see how the Most High guides us within our small unit of family. In Deuteronomy 6, verse 6 to 7. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. This is talking to the family unit, the father, the mother, and the children, or the grandparents, or even the clan, or even the relatives, or even the village, or even the tribe. Let us move on, brothers and sisters, and see how the Father is talking to us in terms of guiding our families towards Him. In Proverbs 1, verse 8 to 9, He says, "Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They are a garland to grace your head and a chain to adorn your neck." The instruction of the mother and the father, they are to be taken up by the son, for they are a garland to grace their heads and a chain to adorn their necks. This is the father talking to the family units. There's no concept of church there that is applicable. We cannot shy away from the fact that as a family we have a huge responsibility to ensure that those in our family are get to be provided for in terms of bread, but not just bread alone, but the word of the Most High. That is why in Proverbs 6 verse 20, the Most High still speaks, "My son, keep thy father's commandments, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Bind them continually upon thine heart, and tie them about thy neck. When thou goest, it shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life." That is the Most High's message to the family unit. What I have been able to provide evidence to, brothers and sisters, is that indeed family is the stepping stone towards Holy Convocation, or to the congregation of the children of the Most High. In Ecclesiastes 3 verse 15, "That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and God requireth that which is past." Basically, what this particular precept is saying, nothing is new on this earth. What is happening now has always happened before. That is why, brothers and sisters, I'm encouraging us to go back to who we are. During the times of Moshe, the family was a critical component of the congregation. There was no congregation without a family, proper upbringing, and also chastisement of the children through the word and the law. Notwithstanding the fact that the Most High does encourage that we should grow and be solidified as a family. In Hebrews 10 from verse 24 to 25, and let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more. So basically what the Most High is saying here, we need to assemble ourselves together. We need to have the congregation fully established eventually. But the starting point, of course, as I've argued, has to be the family unit, which will lead us towards the assembly, the congregation, the one that is being talked about in Exodus, referring to the children of the Most High, the children of the seed, the congregation of the children of the Most High. That is what it is talking about. Once again, brothers and sisters, I re-emphasize that the concept church is not a feature of Scripture. It's not supposed to be the way that we think and the way that we do things. The whole week we wait for that very Sunday morning when the pastor will be dishing out the poison to the children of the Most High. We cannot be continuing to do that. The family unit is to be indeed the critical component of the movement towards a greater congregation of the Most High. The so-called Old Testament, as exemplified in Exodus 12 verse 3, speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel. Israel, of course, is referring to the Bantu, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man of a lamb, according to the house of their father, a lamb for an house. This is the congregation of the Most High, the congregation of the children of the Father. Now, this is what the so-called Old Testament is talking about, the congregation of the children of the Most High. It doesn't talk about the church. Over and above that, we know in the New or so-called New Testament, the Most High says, I am the father of Abraham and the father of Isaac and the father of Jacob. The Father is not the father of the dead, but of the living. We, the children of the Most High, are not dead. We are alive because we are the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So you can see there is a clear relationship between the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which denotes a family lineage as being the children of the Most High, the chosen, the royal priesthood, the Most High special people. That is why, therefore, brothers and sisters, it is important to emphasize the need for these children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to be able to know who they are, in order to be able to have them know who they are in relation to their father. That, for me, is the objective. I also believe in the very same words that are said by Paul Shaul in Romans. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Mpulusi, for it is the power of the Most High unto salvation to everyone who believeth, to the Jew first, Jew referring to the children of Judah, one of the tribes among the 12 tribes of the children of the seed, and also to the Greek and also to the Gentile. But the important part is to the Jew first, to these children first. The Jew first refers to these children. And second, it refers to the Gentiles, the Greek. That is the focus. The question will be then, what happens to the Gentiles? Of course, the Gentiles, if they do just one thing, observing the commandments, and knowing that the children of the Most High are the chosen seed. In Isaiah 14 verse 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the houses of the Bantu shall possess them. In the land of the Most High, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captive, whom captives they were, and they shall take over their oppressors. That is what Prophet Isaiah prophesied, that these children in their midst will have the Gentiles, who clearly are going to be serving this particular purpose. This is the good news, brothers and sisters, that the Most High promised our father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Clearly, brothers and sisters, this is a portrayal of what should not be. This is what church is all about today. And it's very unfortunate that even our Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters are also within the very same framework, tithing and seeking offerings in order to enhance their own personal statuses. This money that gets to be received does not even get to be used for a good cause, but it is used in order to establish themselves and nothing else. This is the record of what church does, what's its purpose, what it hopes to achieve. To create a rich priesthood that is self-serving, and of course, we know what is happening to them. The Most High is not sitting back and letting these individuals do as they wish. The family unit, whatever it is you regard it as within your space, brothers and sisters, a family unit is indeed the critical point of the Holy Convocation of the Father. It's a very powerful starting point. Without it, we are all doomed. It is for that reason that, brothers and sisters, we need to start from within our spaces. Our family units are the starting point, and we will gradually grow into a bigger community of the children of the Most High. And as the Botswana would say, Hula na la.